Who do you want to talk about next?
We'll stay with running backs, and I'm going to go with Tony Pollard here. And this one was a toss-up. So I've got another running back I think we should talk about after the fact, after we get through our list here, because this was a toss-up, and I didn't think it would be fair to you to have two players to talk about for running back. So I didn't want to show you up here on the show sheet that no one else sees. So anyway, Tony Pollard. How the enchanted have fallen from last year. I mean, he was a solid second round pick. Everybody loved him. He was finally the workhorse back in Dallas, that high powered offense. Not only is, Zeke was out of the way, which surprise, surprise, Zeke was still kind of good. And maybe that's why Tony Pollard didn't see as much action as, we thought he should be seeing. And yeah, he got the role last year in just disappointed fantasy managers. Was he still okay for fantasy? Yes. He wasn't like a total bust, but he was definitely a disappointment. And now he tests free agency, goes to the Titans, which great. They're a run first offense. Yeah, they have a young quarterback there that, they're going to want to run the ball, someone to dump off to. But they also have a very talented running back there of Tajay Spears, who I am high on. He definitely earned himself a role last year. We saw him get worked in more and more as the season went on, even though Derrick Henry was still doing Derrick Henry things. And I think he's earned that role from the coaches. And I think this is really going to be a 1A, 1B situation here where the backfield could be split pretty evenly. They both can run hard. They both are, pass catchers. So I think they're going to probably end up riding whoever the hot hand is in the series or in the game. And there could be weeks where Tony Pollard is non-existent and puts up a bagel for you, and Tajay Spears gets all the work, or vice versa. I mean, this is probably a backfield I'm going to stay away from, especially come redraft, just because it's so cloudy. If I had the choice, I'd probably take whoever falls to me cheaper, which would probably be Spears at this point, because I think Tony Pollard still has that name recognition, especially to the more casual fantasy player, not to us degenerates that are talking about it now in the off season. So yeah, that's why Tony Pollard made this list for me.
Yeah, I don't understand what their roles are going to be or are supposed to be. And maybe that's the point. Maybe that's why they signed a guy like Tony Pollard, is so you can't say when one of them's on the field,
right,
you know what we're going to do. And maybe from a coaching perspective or a management perspective, that's a great idea. But for fantasy management, it's a nightmare. Both these guys had like 70 targets last year. They are just both really good pass catchers. I guess Tajay Spears looks a little bit like a better runner, but I don't know how much of that is just Tony Pollard's injury from last year lingering in my brain, and how he didn't really nab it. I'm with you, man. I'm staying away from both. I can't.
No,
maybe I would trade for Tajay Spears in Dynasty, actually, though, as the entrenched guy. Because what do you think you got to trade to get Tajay Spears at this point?
A late second?
Low end. I was going to say low end second gets you.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, in Dynasty, I would still invest in Spears. He's younger. And yeah, he's the entrenched guy, and he's going to be the cheaper one out of both of them too. So give me the guy that's cheaper, and we'll probably see quite a bit of work at any rate.